Hey guys, how you doing, plant family? I'm back. It's Denisha with Recherche Flora, and today I am trying to show you guys how I repot a very root-bound pothos plant. As you can see, guys, I am at work, so this right here is my office plant, and she's been on top of my locker, I want to say a good 9 to 10 years in this one pot. And as you can see, I am struggling trying to cut this pot open and not really chop up her roots. I don't want to do that. I know a lot of people, they may just cut off the bottom roots and, you know, do whatever they call themselves doing, but I felt like I didn't want to chop off any of her roots because it took her all that amount of time to grow. And since they are already hanging low, I didn't feel the need to go through the root ball. I said I was just gonna repot her in a bigger pot and just fill her with a lot of nutrients and see how we go from there. So this is it, guys. Just watch as I demolish this plant pot. Look at this. Look at that whole root ball. It's really no soil at all. This plant was all roots. This was actually, as I'm watching my own video, guys, this is actually why I couldn't press down the I used to put fertilizer sticks into the soil, what I thought was soil, but this plant only had a thin layer of soil on top, and there was really no soil in between those roots. That I am noticing now, and I always wondered why it was so hard for me to press down those fertilizer sticks from a well-known plant company. But now I can see why. She's all roots. Anyway, I finally gotten her out of the pot, and she had many trails, many trails, but I did have to cut off maybe about 3 or 4 because they were just dead trails. And right now I'm showing you this massive root ball. I'm just checking for anything dead, mushy, but like I said before, her roots were viable. I didn't want to bother them. I didn't want to cut them. I wanted everything to just go nicely in that bigger pot, which already has soil in it. You can see the bag of soil behind. I just wanted to be able to put her on top of some new fresh dirt, and then pack around the sides and put some new fresh dirt on top, and just see how well she was to take off. But if you do notice the stick in the background, I have been watching multiple videos on research on how to basically tie up your pothos, because like I said before, she had been trailing for years. So I had her on top of many lockers in the ladies' locker room, and you know, I thank, you know, my fellow colleagues for allowing my plants to trail all over the place. But just to give a new look and a new feel to this plant, I wanted to start tying her up on this this one little tree stump that I had in the house for years, planning on doing something with this tree stump, not really knowing what, but I had it there for just in case purposes. And so here it is. This is my just in case purpose. And so I'm putting this tree branch, not a stump, it's a tree branch, to some good use. And I'm gonna string up this pothos as soon as I get her nice and tight inside this black, this is a nursery pot. I didn't have at the time any ceramic pots. I did go shopping at a later date, but I'm not gonna take her out of this pot as of yet anyway. Maybe when she grows a whole lot bigger and be much better in her glory, then I'll do this process again in a bigger pot. But I'm just gonna let her do what she does. So now that I got her in the pot, I'm trying to carefully, very carefully, tie her up. Excuse me. Tie her up on this tree branch. And here's a better view for you guys. The one thing that was in my favor is because her leaves were so far apart that I didn't really have to worry about breaking off one of the leaves as I was twisting her around this tree branch. So that was one positive thing as to how she grew on top of the lockers. And excuse me. And there's really no mastery to this thing. You just do it the way you see fit and as snugly as you see fit. But I did try to leave like some leeway, a little room, but not too much room, but just a little bit room that felt good for me. And when I got to the top, as you can see, I did go right back down and start the process all over again. So I am twining and intertwining on top of vine over vine over vine. Excuse me, I don't even know what's in my throat right now. And when I got to the end, I just started trying to stick the tip into anywhere, because I was gonna pinch it off anyway, because the whole idea behind this is to get a more fuller, bushier plant. And through all of my research, I have come to know that, well, a lot of people say when you do your pothos this way, you get bigger. Oh, what I'm showing you right now is the push pins that I've gotten so that I can push in these naked vines. Hopefully they will take root and then just start to produce a whole bunch more beautiful, beautiful leaves. And I'm banking on these leaves being a whole lot bigger, because as I was trying to explain to you before, the research showed that when you strung up your pot in this manner, you get much bigger, fuller leaves. The leaves, reach for whatever light source you're providing it, and they get bigger and fuller, and you have a plant in all its glory, and it's just twining and twining and twining. So that is my goal with this plant. Of course, I will give y'all some updates when she starts to grow. But anyway, as you can see, I just continue to pin down this naked vine into moist soil. And if it didn't, you know, like if I pinned it down and it didn't pan out right, it didn't fit right, or it popped back up, I unpinned it and repinned it. You know, it's a process. Nothing is, what I want to say, done and done when you're gardening, when you're planting. It's all trial and error. So this is what I've done for the very first time. Hopefully it's much more of a success than error, but like I said, we shall see what happens. Y'all are in this with me. Wish me luck. But as I was going through this process, I was loving the way it was turning out. And just the process of pinning this down and just working towards a vision, some type of image that you might have in your mind, and just seeing it take fruition. It was a lovely feeling. All while I was on lunch at work, I had time on my hands, and I looked up at this pot on the locker, and I was like, today is the day. And I went at it. This is a piece of vine that I had cut and I didn't want to toss away. So I used the pins the same way I pinned down the naked vine. I'm going to do the same with this vine that has a few pothos leaves on it. Hopefully that takes root as well and starts to prosper, and that pot will look very full, very beautiful. Oh, and I failed to mention anything that was growing on those dead vines, because I had, like I said before, I had some yellow vines that were completely dead. Like, it's dead. It's yellow. So nothing, well, I thought nothing would be produced from those vines. But as I was cutting it away from the plant, I did see that at the nodes were still alive. The vine was dead, but the actual node was still alive, and it was actually growing baby plants. So I'm not sure if those would take root, but you will see later on. I think you will see later on in this video. I'm not even too sure about that. But I did remove those leaves, and the new growth that I took off that vine, I just found a nice little cozy spot on top and placed those 3 new growths on top. Added some more soil just to those new growths, and hopefully they take off. But now I'm showing you the one vine that I did not cut. The pot is in the sink because I am wetting the soil. I am soaking the soil down, making sure the soil is very well saturated, because I was using potting soil that had been very dry, like it dried out completely. And so I figured I just put the pot in the sink and soak it in. But I'm pointing to the 3 baby new growths that I said I took off the vine. Propagate. This is the tree stump. Some ordinary tree stump that I had found in the park years ago, and just had it in my house. And I said, I'll put this tree stump to use one day, and today was the day. I just so happened to be at work. But anyway, your plant babies are your plant babies. So this one had many vines. I cut off about 3 dead vines, and I'm left with 1 vine, which is going up this tree stump, and this vine, this very long vine right here, that's all twined around, going across the floor. It's not going to stay there, but I'm only showing you this because I didn't want to remove it from the wall. It is attached. It's made a home, and it has nice big leaves. So pretty. So I figured I'd leave it there. So what I basically did was just leave this vine alone and accommodate for it in the pot. That's all I did. And I'm gonna put it back on top of my locker and let the other vine continue to trail and grow up the wall. I think she will be very, very pretty when she acclimates to her new pot and her new design.